Good morning. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. How are you, Shannon?
I'm so thrilled to be here with you two beautiful ladies, but I'm kind of stunned by the beauty. Both of you look fantastic.
Oh, thank you, Shannon. You look fantastic too.
As to you, Nancy, we're reflecting back on you, Shannon.
Well, I mean, those earrings, Vana.
And that headdress.
I know, it's just all stunning. So I guess we should all introduce ourselves. I'm Shannon Penrod.
I'm Nancy Alspaugh-Jackson.
Vana Thiero.
And we're thrilled to have Vana here this morning because as we were going through our news stories for today, we realized, oh, we have somebody that's the living, breathing embodiment of part of what we're talking about in one of the news stories. And on a very last minute notice, Nancy reached out to Vana and she said, yes, I'm going to be there. So I don't know, like Vana, I sort of want you to open this topic up and talk about what you've been going through and what it's been like for you. What's going on?
Well, we, in 2015 made the hard choice to put our son in a group home. And, that's tough enough as it is. And we decide to, do what's best for the family at large. And so I visit him once a week, sometimes more when my schedule permits. And as soon as the pandemic hit, we just hunkered in and imagined, we were told initially, 6 weeks? Yeah. And, mentally you figure, oh, I could do that 6 weeks. Zoom became our friend. And I, rationalized that I'm seeing him perhaps a little bit more, 2 or 3 times via video chat. But it's difficult for our children on the spectrum because they're also going to school on a screen. So the group home informed me that he tenses up every time they open the laptop. He's got school, he's got different classes, he's got therapies, his speech and his OT, all on Zoom. And then when mom comes in, I'm hoping to get this jolly guy. I don't always get the jolly guy, but we still put our time in. But time has flown by. Yeah. First it was the 6 weeks, then it was another 4 weeks. Well, right now we are coming up on 4 months without any human touch. It's very difficult.
Very difficult, Dana.
And difficult for everybody. I mean, it's
right.
difficult for you. It's difficult for him. I'm sure it's difficult for the people that are running the facility that he is in. It's difficult for your other son, who I'm sure would like to see his brother.
Yeah.
And so you have been asking all of us what can be done about this. And I know you've been out there working it really hard. You're a wonderful advocate. We came across a story that we wanted to cover today. Nancy, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, the story is out of Florida, and it's basically that the parents of an autistic son begged Florida Governor DeSantis to lift coronavirus mandate barring visitors in group homes. This is essentially the same thing that Dana is asking to have done. Of course, they understand these parents of this particular child, Jan and Greg Cawley, who are the parents of Billy Cawley, are saying that they understand the need for caution to protect elderly residents in homes. But this is very different when you have a child with a disability that isn't sick and the parents aren't sick, and they've been now 4 months dealing with this. So they're asking Governor DeSantis to lift the ban restricting access to visitors. And this is essentially the same thing Dana is requesting, right, Dana?
Well, I'm not requesting a lift of the ban. I understand the protection of the group home. I do not believe that anyone should enter the home, a group home that is responsible for the safety and well-being of multiple clients. I do not feel we should, consider that an option. What I'm asking for, I've had some time to think on it, are what I'm calling well family visits. And there are regional centers all over California with conference rooms, multiple conference rooms. I'm a person who's working, blessed to have a job. Our job sanitizes the areas. They have spraying. We have major protocol in terms of masks. We take actual screenings daily before we come to work. I don't know if you guys are still in your home, but because I work in the media, we have to go to a facility. It's minimal staff. Everybody is respectful. Everybody, even in the break room, we stand far apart. We're masked. We walk in grabbing Clorox wipes, cleaning keyboards, our mouse, door handles, pens. So we're very mindful. I'm asking that some provision be made where the group home can bring their client, our child, to a facility that's already sanitized, and we can come as well and schedule these visits from 1 to 1:55. It's our turn. They sanitize the room at 3 o'clock. It's another family's turn. Well, family visits in environments that are sanitized with protocol preceding these visits. What does the state want to do or ask us to adhere to in order for them to feel comfortable? And I've spoken with Ed White and Tony White, who run the group home where my son Bakari resides. And we've had very emotional talks, not against one another, with one another, because they understand. And it's brought me to tears on many occasions, and they admitted that it's brought them to tears. They're compassionate people as well. They didn't start a group home to keep children away from parents. They understood the need of 24-hour care and knew how to provide it in a wonderful way and allow families to visit. The door has always been open all week long for us. And so to see their clients, people who they care about deeply, not be able to be with their families is very tough on them.
I'm sure it is, Dana. Let me ask you, have you seen in your Zoom visits with Bakari, have you seen any regression because of the lack of contact with you and maybe confusion over this situation?
I couldn't define it for those terms. He's had behaviors during all these weeks twice on camera.
Okay, on camera.
So that's you guys know that's a great ratio.
Right.
So and one time I do believe he reacted to the fact that I'm just tired, I can't see you. It felt that way because with non-speakers, he's learned to be able to point to letterboards. He can't do that through a screen. He hadn't grown to that that level of competency for himself. But prior to all of that, and I've talked to other moms of non-speakers, we use telepathy. I mean, we have friends and family members that we grow close to enough that we can tell what they want because we've been around them, and common sense gives us the answer and they confirm it. And so I believe maybe one of those times he was upset because he was just tired of these Zoom calls and he wanted to see me.
Right.
So Vana, this family has gone directly to the governor of their state. And I know you're such an on it mom. And I don't know, it was a couple of weeks ago that you wrote to a bunch of us and said, okay, hive mind ladies, who do we know?
Yeah.
I need some help here.
Yes.
How have things progressed? Where, because I know we all are feeling for you. And we all want to hear the solution. But nobody had anything for you, at least on my end. I didn't have anything. What have you found out so far? Are you getting any traction? Who were you talking to?
I got a little bit of information from the West Side Regional Center, who has African-American / Black family support group and run by Beverly Hutchinson. And
I know Beverly.
Yes, so they were able to follow up with how West Side Regional Center handles it, and they allow families to drive into the driveway and the child be able to come out and speak with the parent. Now, I forwarded that to North Side Regional Center, to our supervisor, and I'm still, following up on that, hoping that maybe that's an option, but that's not really one that North Side is even open to based on the lack of response. So other than that,
would that fit the bill for you if you were able to drive into the parking lot of the home and stay in your car and have him come out and talk to you while you're in the car, would that be enough for you? Or are you wanting more than that?
Oh, I definitely want more, although something,
Better than nothing.
this is the nature of where we are. When you're denied so much, of course you'll take a crumb. Now, will that crumb be productive? Will my son be comfortable just seeing me in a car and not be able to get in the car like he always does?
Right.
Will that cause a tantrum?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good point, Vana. It's a really good point.
I want to circle back to Nancy asking about regression.
Yeah.
Forgive me, ladies. I have seen regression in terms of language. He was becoming much more verbal, constantly saying hello all the time. Hi, Mom. If I asked him a yes or no question, always he had a verbal yes or no, and quite a bit of echolalia. Now there's zero.
Okay.
Okay. One of our viewers has said that their group home lets parents visit on the porch with social distancing.
And what regional center are they with?
I don't know. I don't even know that they're in the state of California. If that viewer wants to write back in and tell us. But I think that there's a lot of different ideas that are out there of how it, like, I love your idea of having people, meet in a place that's designed for that, but it will involve a bunch of cleaning. And I could just hear people talking about budget. What I love about if there's a picnic table outside the home where parents could come and with social distancing, then you're outside where we know the transmission possibilities are less and it doesn't necessarily need to be cleaned in the way that you would have to clean the room. Would that work for you, Vana?
That would be awesome. Although then you're dealing with the natural occurrence of events, which means, will my son sit at that picnic table? He's gonna go wherever he wants. So then, but I'm open to that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I strongly support group homes who are not opening themselves up to visits. I applaud Ed and Tony White for how they've, led by example, following the rules, and even when it hurts them, adhering to protocol that they've been given. Because, many families have taken their children out of group homes, and many group homes have fallen. Just like at the beginning of the pandemic, many people were they lost jobs. Well, when you lose a job, you lose livelihood. Well, families wanted to be with their children. Fear set in. They took their children out of group homes because they were home. Yeah. And these group homes lost their funding. So it's a double-edged sword.
It is. I have to say that I can count 5 different families that I am aware of right now that have kiddos in group homes where the kiddos have been exposed to and now are diagnosed with COVID.
Really?
Yes.
Shocking.
Five specific different families where that is the case. And fortunately, everyone is doing okay. And, there's been no loss of life. But for me, like, I know what you're going through. Like, that's not what I want to say. I can't imagine what you're going through, Vana. But at the core of it, I appreciate you saying how great it was that they kept those protocols because your child continues to be healthy. I can't imagine what it's like to have your child in a group home and then get the phone call that your child has COVID and be told you can't visit your child and your child is sick. And at least in 2 cases, the children have had to be moved to the hospital. No. And they can't visit there. And that, to me, I would lose my mind. You'd have to sit on my chest. I couldn't handle it.
Yes, I agree.
And we don't want that. So, I appreciate that you are measured in your requests, Vana, and that you are appreciative of the guidelines for the reason why they're there, but that you're wanting to have it progress because it's also to his detriment for him to not see you. I so appreciate that.
Yeah. And so we have the park option, and it doesn't cost much to sanitize one room. It really
Oh, I
doesn't.
know. It's
Especially
but
when
you
you
know that's what they'll
consider-
say. You know
Especially
that's what,
when you consider many of the employees of these organizations where we're asking to do this have not been paid. Everybody's not being paid. So money's being saved someplace, and testing is becoming more readily available. That's another option to put in place. Couldn't regional center funding come down for everyone to be tested more regularly?
I think
And
these are good points. I think you need to get to the governor with it. I think that's what this family did, and it got
I
the meeting.
want to know who can provide an introduction. I mean, I'd actually enjoy a sit down with Mayor Garcetti and his team. I'd love to be able to visit. They have daily press conferences, they have updates, and I don't hear them talking about our situation. I don't know how we let them know.
Well, this is one way. We put it out there and let people know that you're looking for solutions, and that it isn't just you. There are families in all around the world that are looking for solutions to this. And state by state, I think we got to start coming up. Unfortunately, that's all the time that we have. But Vana, thank you so much for being such a wonderful advocate for your sons, and for taking the time to be with us.
More known.
And if anybody has any ideas for Vana, please get in touch with us at the show.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks so much for being with us,
Thanks,
Vana.
Vana.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Onward and upward, and this
That
too
is-
shall pass.
That's right. That's
You're so
right.
positive. I
Warm
love
mouth
it.
to God's ear.
Hey, thanks for watching Autism Live. To subscribe, click here. And if you'd like to check out some more of our videos, click here.